are we buying into stigma by being anonymous? Are we buying into stigma by helping people who leave rehab to come up with a cover story rather than teaching them how to disclose? Because it has an impact that they're starting their recovery. It's a bit, I mean, it's a bit strong to call it a lie, but they are starting with a form of lying. And so that's going to have an impact. You know, I know when I've lied, you know, and not everything that I've ever done is known by other people. You know, you've got the whole Johari window thing going on, where you might say, you know, there's things I know about myself that everyone else knows. You know, there's some things that I know about myself that I've not told anyone else. And so there's elements of us, there's always a little bit hidden, you know, and there's things that I don't know about myself that maybe other people do know, you know. But when someone is going through a process of treatment and then into recovery, and they go out into the world as a recovered person, I think they need to try and use all the tools in the box. And so rather than seeing their past as an asset, they're buying into the stigma of addiction rather than the asset of recovery. And I'm going to have to make a little bit of noise. I keep a plate in here that I actually made. I'll see if I put it near the camera. So I went on a course, a Kintsugi course, and Kintsugi is the Japanese art of, I think it's Japanese. You take a break and you make it into a feature, and so a normal plate has value, and in the Western world, a broken plate either has no value, or the value is in putting it back together without the crack being visible. In Kintsugi, the plate has value, and a broken plate has even more value because they fill the gaps, the breakages with gold, with gold powder. I mean, now this one is brass powder, because I couldn't afford the gold course, so we use brass powder. But the concept is, if I transfer that to my recovery, I could try and fix the cracks in a way that they're not visible to anyone. But what I've chosen to do instead is to take the Kintsugi route and put my cracks on show. Wow. And that's what we say within our recovery community. That's part of my philosophy that I take anywhere. If someone's in recovery, yeah, they've got breakages, they've got cracks in them. But if we can pour gold into those cracks, they become even more valuable. And then they become I think it's the Japanese, when they see a plate that's been fixed like that, it's almost revered. It's made more beautiful because of the breakages. And so, yeah, being involved in treatment and coming across a treatment center that is effectively trying to make those cracks invisible and send someone out into the world with a cover story, to me, it's a misunderstanding of how much of an asset that person can be, and it's buying into the stigma. I think that's what we were saying, essentially. I've done it long-winded again, but
no, you haven't.
Yeah.
I love that concept. Kintsugi. Yeah. How do you spell that?
It's Kintsugi, Kintsugi.
I love that.
Yeah, and we did a group on it. One of the people in Henley has had a room that we could use. She ran a business locally, and she said we could use her room. And we went on Amazon and we bought. You can buy these Kintsugi kits for 20 quid, 18 quid each or something. And so we bought 10 of them. We had some funding. We bought 10 of these kits. We might have bought 12 in case anyone else came. And we set up in this room and we ran the group as it's like a craft group. You break the plate and then you put it back together, and you use this gold glue. And it was they used super glue and this other gold dust. It was a bit of a shortcutted way of doing it. And it was really good. We all walked away with a broken plate, you know, that had been refixed. And we used it as a visual aid, really, to carry with us. It wasn't this one; it was a different one. I've got that one somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, I loved it, and I kind of think if I use that in a rehab setting, I'd probably hold on, something's just happened. Siri just said something. Sorry. If I use that Kintsugi concept in a rehab setting, I'd love it, because I'd be able to work with the residents. You can work with the brokenness, you can put it back together, and it would have so many applications with the recovery process. And if people were about to leave and move on to the next stage of their lives, it would be a really good visual aid to take with them, and part of the process of teaching them how to disclose.